Okay, my name is Miss Emmision, and I'm going to walk you through an overview of this supply chain greenhouse gas emission analysis. So this dashboard focuses on the carbon intensity, the supply chain dependency, margin emissions, and efficiency to identify high impact areas for emission reduction. So we're starting off with the key matrices up here. We can see that the average emission intensity is about 0.39, and then we can see that the max sector emission intensity is 10.99, which is approximately 11, and the dependency ratio is 92.71%. And also, we're looking at the margin contributions. We can see that it has a 7.30%, and the number of sectors analyzed in this data set, we have 1016 sectors. All right, this indicates that the emissions are overly driven by supply chain activities rather than direct operations. Okay, moving on to this visual, the intensity index by sector, we can see that solid waste landfill has the highest carbon intensity, significantly higher than all other sectors. And other noticeable contributors also include cement manufacturing, beef cattle ranching and farming, and then coal feed power generation. A small number of sectors account for disproportionately high emissions. Moving on to the donut chart, we can see that the supply chain emissions dominate the total emissions, and we can see that the direct emissions represent only a small fraction. So this visual supports the 92.71% dependency ratio, confirming that upstream activities are the main emission source. All right, so moving on to the supply chain margin emissions by sector, we can see that the highest margin emissions were observed in the Antarctic mining, the bituminous coal mining, and the subbituminous coal mining. And most other sectors cluster around similar margin levels. This shows that the carbon-intensive extractive industries contribute the most to marginal supply chain emissions. Okay, looking at the visual, we can see that the emission index by sector, that the zoos and the botanical gardens show the highest emission efficiency, followed by the wood window and door manufacturing, the wood kitchen cabinet manufacturing, and the wood preservation. These sectors generate economic activities with comparatively lower emissions per output. Okay, looking at this table, we can see that this is a sector level detailed table, and we can see that the abrasive product manufacturing, we have the carbon intensity of 0.24 and margin contributions of 31.97%. Some sectors contribute, some sectors combine moderate carbon intensity with high margin contributions, making them high priority targets for optimization. So this is generally a table insight of what is happening with the sectors. So overall, the analysis shows that supply chain activity accounts for over 92% of the greenhouse gas emission, with a few carbon-intensive sectors, particularly waste management, cement and coal-related industries, driving the highest impact. But improving supplier practice and targeting high-margin, moderate-intensity sectors presents the greatest opportunity for meaningful emission reduction.